Hi everyone, my name is Selena and welcome back to my channel. I am your holistic guide and GAPS guru, and I love to talk about all things non-toxic living and really just creating a healthy home and body inside and out. So today I'm going to be talking about kefir. And like I've said in my other videos, I want to kind of give you a complete guide because this is one of the top 3 foods that I really recommend. I feel like I'm constantly advising people to start drinking kefir for a variety of reasons. In my family, I have become the natural health coach, so everybody comes to me when they have issues, a lot of my friends too, and usually when they come to me, they're looking for some kind of natural solution to their stubborn symptoms, and the first thing I will tell them is that I never really recommend quick fixes. And that's because usually quick fixes are quick fixes because they are only temporary fixes. They're only temporary solutions, and I'm really going for the long-term solutions. So 9 times out of 10, if somebody's not already having kefir as a daily part of their life, that's gonna be the first thing that I recommend them doing. I can't really help someone fix something that their diet and lifestyle is pretty much inviting to come back. That being said, I love to give people practical solutions for their chronic and stubborn symptoms. I made a whole video on this top 3 simple health changes where I list it, and I will link it below. But the reason that kefir made this list, well, there's a bunch of reasons. The main reason is because it is really probably one of the best ferments in replenishing that gut microbiome and diversifying it, which I really believe is really key for healing. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make kefir, what it is exactly, and what the benefits really are. So let's jump into it. I honestly feel like kefir is one of the most underrated agents of healing out there. A lot of people in their effort to become healthy have started going this non-dairy route, and maybe I'll make a video about that at some point of why I think avoiding dairy is actually really bad for your health. But here's the deal with dairy. Organic, grass-fed, fermented dairy is one of the most important things for your gut health. Some of those benefits include promoting and balancing that gut microbiome. Kefir has over 61 different strains of beneficial yeasts, and it's been known to heal things like cancer, IBS, and all sorts of other chronic diseases. It's also super high in calcium, so it can promote bone health and teeth health. All you people out there who pretty much have cavities every single time you go to the dentist and your dentist just tells you to floss more, you guys, your teeth need the right nutrients in order to stay strong and be able to even remineralize. I'll rant about that for a while, but I'm gonna move on. It's really important to have a good amount of calcium in your diet. Because of that, this also will reduce the risk of osteoporosis, and a lot of conventional sources also say that it has these kind of antibacterial properties to it, and that's just to say that the beneficial bacteria actually can help inhibit the growth of pathogenic bacteria like Candida, E. coli, and parasites, and honestly a billion of other types of pathogenic bacteria. It's really important to note here that I pretty much never recommend antibiotics because there are a billion other ways, more sustainable ways, I might add, to change your gut and support your immune system without antibiotics. We're really going for supporting those probiotics in your gut and weakening the pathogenic bacteria, and just taking a pill that weakens both of those things is really not going to benefit you the most in the long run. So kefir is one of the biggest ways that I recommend people doing that. Whenever I see someone struggling with acne or bacterial infections, gut issues, my first recommendation is to start making kefir a part of your daily diet. It's going to improve your health in the long run, and overall it's just great. If anyone studied biodiversity of the wilderness, people would say that's a really good thing. Well, it's the same thing with your gut, and kefir pretty much does it better than any other single fermented food I've seen out there. It's amazing at diversifying your microbiome, your gut microbiome, and really just strengthening you against disease, because a diverse microbiome is a strong microbiome. So if you're listening right now and you're sensitive to dairy, listen, I was very, very sensitive to dairy. I'm talking so sensitive that if I had one speck of dairy in my food, I would feel it and I would get really sick. So I'm speaking as someone who was once really sensitive to dairy. I will just say sensitivities can be healed, and it's through using food as medicine like this that I really think you can do that. If you're making kefir for yourself, you'll end up fermenting the lactose out of the milk altogether. So if you're sensitive to lactose, this is a really good option for you. The kefir bacteria that we call grains actually eat up the lactose during the fermentation process, so it actually is very easy to digest. But okay, listen, I spend about 30 minutes total per week, maybe even 20 minutes total per week, making my own kefir. And I end up making about 1.5 gallons gallon of kefir a week. So it's definitely manageable. There are going to be 3 key ingredients you'll need that you may or may not have in your kitchen. So I'm gonna go through those. And if you don't have a glass jar yet, that's not on this list, so you're gonna need to get that too. Now, number 1 is going to be milk. So you're gonna wanna pick milk that is ideally raw. We want all the probiotic content to be maintained. So if you can find a farm near you that sells raw milk, that's going to be the best. And if the farm doesn't spray pesticides, i.e. it's an organic farm, and feeds their animals grass, that is ideal. So again, you may have to work with what you have right now. If you need to just go to the grocery store and pick up some milk because you can't go find a farm, I would just recommend avoiding the ultra pasteurized dairy. That's gonna be the least amount of probiotics. The beneficial probiotics that are in the milk are really gonna be key for that. So avoiding too much pasteurization. That's also what I did in the beginning, and it definitely works. So number 2 is going to be kefir grains, and you can buy this off of Amazon. I will leave a link below. These are like little cauliflower looking bacteria colonies that is gonna eat up all the lactose in the milk and give off dozens of probiotics. A lot of people you'll see maybe in other videos will worry about the ratio of grains to milk. I have found that this really doesn't matter all that much. Just know that the more grains per cup of milk, the faster the milk is going to culture, and the less grains, the slower it will culture. This also applies to the milk part. If you have more milk per tablespoon of grains, it's gonna be slower to ferment, and less milk is gonna be faster. That just makes sense, right? Think of it like a job. If there are more workers to eat the lactose, it will go quicker. If there's less lactose, that means there's like less work to be done, it will go quicker. So you can kind of just experiment, but just to note that the hotter that your house actually is, the faster it will ferment as well. If you stick them in the fridge, it will take like a week to ferment, which is good if you're going on vacation, but if you just want a really consistent supply, you're gonna wanna leave it out on the counter. Now, the 3rd thing you're gonna need is going to be a strainer. This helps to have a plastic or nylon mesh like I'm gonna show you here, because apparently probiotics eat the steel and then they end up with metals, and I don't really know if that's true, but honestly for me, it's never really made much sense because I always put like a metal spoon in it after, but whatever. This is also the reason why people will often recommend that you get a wood spoon, but I also don't always do that. Do what you can, do with what you have. Okay, so mine usually takes a couple of days, 2 to 3, because of how my ratio of grains to milk and the temperature of my house kind of is and the way I like to keep it. Because I don't have time and I don't really want to be filtering my kefir every single day, this is kind of what I go for because I like the span of time that it leaves, but I do end up with a gallon of milk kefir every single week. Okay, so this is what it will look like when it's ready to be strained. You'll kind of see that the outside turns into kind of like this like cultured looking dairy, you know, a little bit like yogurt kind of thing. It's thickening up. If it ends up going over, which will look like basically a lot of separation, more liquid in the bottom, and it's gonna turn into like the curds and whey, so the more thick fermented milk at the top, and the liquid at the bottom. It really doesn't mean that that's bad. Honestly, kefir can really never go bad. It's just a matter of the taste. And let me tell you, it does get very sour. I don't love the taste of it being over fermented. Eventually it starts to kind of smell like dirty socks. So I really don't love that. But the reality is it never truly goes bad because it's a ferment that's hopefully been preserved well. So, and just like that, you really have kefir. Pour some milk in with the grains after you've strained out the old grains, and it will start another round. It's very easy. What you'll notice is that the kefir grains actually start to multiply over time, and that's gonna just happen naturally because they grow as they're being nourished, kind of like a little kid. You're gonna wanna keep feeding them, but as you keep feeding them, they're gonna keep growing. So the leftover extra grains, I eat them. They kind of taste like sour gummy bears, so they're like an extra probiotic kick. You can definitely eat them. You can compost them. Don't throw them away, but you can give them to a friend, and you really will it will end up growing, and if you just keep the same amount in there, it will make it ferment a lot quicker and maybe go over, so you might want to take some out as time goes on and as they start to grow. If you ever drop your grains and they need to be cleaned, just rinse them out with some milk. Not water, especially not sink water. With all those chemicals in it, you don't want to damage those little guys. Just rinse the milk with your strainer and they'll be fine. They are very resilient. That's what's going to help us a lot here, is that they're resilient, but they're also going to make us resilient in our health. So now, just a note about detox reactions. This is a very strong ferment, so really I encourage you to start small, maybe even a drop. Maybe a drop in a gallon and a drop of that. It's very, very powerful. I have had really horrible detox reactions at one point from drinking milk kefir. So I really recommend building your body's tolerance, but your body's tolerance can build. So go with kind of that intuitive sense that your body, if you're craving it, drink it. You can also make goat milk kefir. You can even make breast milk kefir. I know that sounds crazy, but do what your body can handle, and some people respond better to milk from goat milk, so go with that. I'm all about individualizing the process because nobody's body is the same and everybody responds differently to different things. So if sheep's milk works for you, go for that. I really encourage you to let this process be one where you're listening to your body. My body will sometimes tell me to drink milk kefir at times, and that kind of shows up as me just craving it. I'm like, I really am craving this thing. It's definitely a little sour, so it might take some time to get used to the taste of it, but my body will often crave it now that I've assimilated my taste buds to it. And my body has even told me to stop drinking it at times, and usually that'll feel like this feeling in me like, I'm full, I do not want any more of that. And you kind of just have this like aversion towards it, maybe halfway through drinking the cup. And when I don't listen to that, guys, the detox reactions are sometimes really, really hard to handle. So I really recommend going slow, being gentle on your body, and really listening to what your body's capacity is right now. Without judgment, just listening. And if you poured yourself a huge glass of kefir and your body's like, no, just put it back in the fridge and drink what you can. Drink a half a glass of kefir, you know? I hope this video was helpful. If you end up making kefir and you had success with it, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like this video and subscribe. It's my passion to walk alongside people as they heal and grow. It inspires me and hopefully brings encouragement to you. I will see you in my next video.